You're listening to Tripod, the Tricycle Creative podcast, created to help entrepreneurs be better marketers. Each episode features news, tips, interviews, and commentary from the worlds of marketing, media, and, well, miscellaneous. Now, here are your co-hosts, Ross Erosion and Chris Slezak.
Episode 5 of Tripod, the Tricycle Creative Marketing Podcast. I am Ross, joined, as always, by Chris.
Hello. You say as always. Might not
As
be.
always, every episode you've been there.
You don't own me. You don't know.
Factually, it stands up. So good luck disproving it in a court of law. You are legally bound. You didn't even know.
Well, with that, I say hello.
Oh, hello to you. What's happened since we last spoke?
Oh, knowing me, probably nothing.
Nice.
Watched Game of Thrones, which I know you're not in on.
I don't know a single thing about Game of Thrones.
Did you feel, I saw somebody online compare the feeling of not watching Game of Thrones during this new season to feeling like when you're not a football fan during the Super Bowl.
It has
where
to
you're
be.
just so left out of everything.
It has to be. I have no idea. This is not an exaggeration. I haven't seen a second of Game of Thrones. I haven't seen a single, maybe, okay, in an ad, right? Okay, so technically I've seen a dragon probably blow fire at something from the show. So I guess technically seen like a second of it. But I've never seen it because I didn't get in like the first couple seasons, and then I'm like, it's too far gone. And then I still feel it's too far gone.
Well, I'm not going to be the one, I won't be the one that says, you've got to watch it. But your loss.
Well, I know. And here's the thing. I'm going to get into it 6 years from now. Sure. And then I'm going to want to talk about it. And everyone's going to be like, why are you talking to me about this show now? We were into it 6 years ago. And here's the other thing. I said the same thing, and you're going to probably not be my friend or my co-host after I say this about Breaking Bad. And to this day, I haven't seen an episode of Breaking Bad.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a nervous Nelly. This is what suspenseful shows I can't do them. I don't know. I'm a wuss.
You'll probably be better off if you do watch them later. So that way you can just, so you can binge them and not at least have to have that.
Do it in peace.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Well, that's a good answer. But the correct answer, the answer I was looking for, was there's a new Star Wars trailer. So close, but here's your parting gift. No, very excited about that. So I did. However, there was one advantage of not seeing or not being a watcher of Game of Thrones is that last night at my trivia night, the place was practically empty. We were one of only a handful of teams. Your next question is, did you win? No, but still, we had a better chance at winning.
I'm surprised that there was anybody at all. That crossover between people that do pub trivia and people that watch Game of Thrones seems like almost 100%.
We were befuddled of why it was so empty. And then they kind of said thanks for sticking it out with us during the Game of Thrones thing. And I was like, oh, and I looked around and the place was empty, tumbleweeds were just going across half of the restaurant, So, but you're right. The Venn diagram of Game of Thrones fans and trivia fans, it's almost like a eclipse. It's almost complete coverage, overlap of audiences, 100%. So I'm excited. We have some great topics for you. If you are tuning in for the first time, shame on you. We have many episodes, and we encourage you to subscribe, listen, and please comment and rate wherever it is you are listening. We cover 3 topics every show: media, marketing, and the ever-popular miscellaneous provided by Chris. So this week we're talking about people cheating at Instagram. We are talking about the new interactive series on Netflix called You versus Wild. And Chris, our miscellaneous topic for the week.
We're going to be talking about drunk online shopping.
What a dream. All right, let's get it started. So our first topic, we are going to talk about people cheating at Instagram. So this came up because I saw that Trey Ratcliffe, were you at all or are you at all familiar with Trey Ratcliffe, Chris?
I don't think I've had the pleasure.
Okay, so I just asked because you are a photog, you enjoy photography, and Trey Ratcliffe is a photographer by trade. He actually, I think he single-handedly kept Google Plus going. Like, he was one of the people who just dove into Google Plus and made it work. So he was like one of 5 people that made that thing go. But he recently wrote a book exposing how people cheat at Instagram. So to kind of explain a little bit, how does this happen? What does this mean? This dives into the influencer culture, right? This millennial plague, as it were, that people who have a lot of followers on Instagram go to big brands. They say, hey, we'll do a review of your product. We'll do this. We'll do that. Blah, 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 blah. They get paid for it. They get paid to do, I guess, what you could call like a lifestyle tweet. So it's like incidental, maybe. Oh, I love the new 7-Up,
Sure.
post. And it's been reported they can get paid anywhere from, and there's whole agencies actually dedicated to this. Tricycle Creative is not one of those. They get paid between $1,000 to potentially over $100,000 for like a single post. That's crazy, right? That's probably Kardashian money, but
Sure.
Actually hers is probably even higher than that. And then they get like freebies too, right? So, I'm going to go. Did you ever see the Fire documentary on Netflix, Chris? Did you watch that?
Oh, about the non-existent festival?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I'm familiar with the whole.
Okay. So like, you want to spread the word, you invite influencers, people with a huge audience, they share it on social media, boom, bam, you have a, I guess, quote unquote, grassroots campaign going there. Right. Now, one of the plagues of this, and this is kind of, I think, the backbone of Ratcliffe's book, is that these influencers, he saw this going on and he's like, you know what? I'm going to kind of expose this. He created his own account and then started spending what he reported to say $40 for every 30,000 followers.
That seems cheap.
It seems crazy cheap. And you know why? Because it's buy-in bots. This is why, like, I have dealt with clients before and they're like, oh, should we get involved with this and buy users? No, don't buy users because they're worthless. They are completely worthless. And buying a user is different than doing like a page like campaign, which are actual people who like your page. We're talking about straight up going to a place, giving $40 for 30,000 followers. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. Now, do these bots interact or is it just basically a profile picture and a name?
Well, I think, for anyone that manages, anyone that really has an Instagram account, you can usually pick these bots out pretty quick. Let's just outline what these bots typically look like. They're typically a girl, usually scantily clad, and like has like 6 pictures in her profile.
And also six numbers at the end of their username.
Yes, numbers and emojis as in her username too. That's a big one. Stars,
Right.
Whatever. I don't know. Eiffel Tower. I don't know. I don't know. Like emojis, just all over the place. Just an emoji diarrhea all over the account, right? I think that's the only way.
Trademark that.
Let me get that domain. Hold on. Let me type that up. So Ratcliffe, he did this, and then he went to brands and pitched this fake influencer account.
So he did not. It was not his own. I mean, he created the account, but it was a fictional person.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, I think he still posted to it because, again, he is a photographer.
Sure.
So he does certainly have, a ton of content that he could shoot, or even probably from his own catalog, that he could populate into this account. So he himself was not a bot, if you will, but this account was, it wasn't a real person. So I don't know, man. Like, I just find this really intriguing. And I think this is where, if you take nothing else from this episode, then don't buy users, because here's what's going to happen. And this happens usually once or twice a year. Some platform will do a cleanup of their platform and eliminate, upwards of 1 million or maybe more accounts that they identify as bots. And then your follower count goes, you take that hit. This was a big deal. This happened with Twitter. It's been, I don't remember. I mean, this happened a couple times. I know it's definitely been during the Trump presidency, because there was a big whoop about his account and many others that just had like the rug pulled out from them from a number of their accounts taking huge hits.
Yeah. But I mean, to play the devil's advocate, was it worth it as a short-term strategy? I mean, was he able to offset that $40 that he spent? If you got $40 worth of free merchandise, then you broke even.
Well, I mean, I would,
you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
I'll pay $40 and I'll get some followers. Then I'll get a, ModCloth to send me some clothes, worth $100. And then I've made a profit.
Yeah, it's true. And I think that, so his book, it's called Under the Influence, How to Fake Your Way into Getting Rich on Instagram, Influencer Fraud, Selfie, Anxieties, Ego, and Mass Delusional Behavior. So that, it sounds like he is very much against the practice.
It seems to trend that way. Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm looking here. It's $10 on Kindle, $18 for the paperback. Now, here's the other thing that I want to talk about with this. I know that when you are a business or you are a brand, you're on social media and you want your audience to grow. We've talked about this. We talked about this last episode, right? But I think, and this is hard, but I think there's something to be said for, the balance of the resource you're giving to it, but also just that you're doing, I want to say you have fun doing it. We've also established that you can't have fun on social media, but that you're enjoying doing what you do, right? The audience will then come to you, I think that the fact that because it's social media and because there's so many numbers immediately available to you, right, that it's easy to obsess about that. And that becomes the metric, if you will, of is this successful or not? And analytics are only part of the picture. I really think that there's something to the fact that, are you proud of what you're putting out there? Do you enjoy what you're putting out there? And is what you're putting out there of value, And if all those boxes are checked, just stay the course. It'll happen.
Right. Or maybe you don't have huge numbers, but it's quality interaction. It's a nice community. I mean, that's almost more important.
Not everyone gets 1 million followers. That's okay. Particularly if half of them are bots. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. I maybe to make this even more real, like I just look at our own podcast, I want more people listening all the time. Tell your friends. But I actually do this because I enjoy talking with this guy, Chris, every week. And I like talking marketing. I don't know. I'm a nerd about it. If I don't talk to him, I don't get to talk to anyone about it. Or, like, so my wife doesn't want to hear me talk about marketing anymore. She don't want to hear it. Right. She don't want to hear it. So
that's why we're shoveling this to you, the audience.
No, no, like I enjoy talking marketing. Right. And we've talked off air and even on air that by extension, this is kind of a learning experience for you too. That's why I do what I like. I like teaching people and talk, and I'm just passionate about marketing. Like I'm passionate about advertising and marketing, just like other people are maybe passionate about Game of Thrones. I don't know. Like I just nerd out about it, and so I stay the course.
Now, do you think if I wanted a copy of this book, I could just tell him that I'll do a review because I have X amount of followers and that I'll, give a quality review of his book for free?
I think it would be the most baller ask that anyone could do. And I look forward to you telling me his response from that. Now our second topic for episode 5, Tricycle Creative Podcast. It's a new interactive series on the Netflix, and it is called You versus Wild, hosted by Bear Grylls. Chris, I texted you to watch, or I don't even know what the right term is, to do this show. To experience the show, right?
Yeah.
So real quick, the premise is it's similar to the Bandersnatch that they launched earlier this year.
Yeah.
I didn't do that one, but I'm going to go back and do it because if it's anything like this, which I think it is, if not better, then I just need to experience it. But it's an interactive show on Netflix where Bear Grylls is dropped into different scenarios and you choose what you want him to do. So how many episodes or which episodes did you watch, Chris?
I think just the first one. I think it was the first one. I had to help him rescue a doctor from the jungle, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there was medicine involved, right? They had to get the medicine to the
village nearby.
Village. Yeah. What did you think?
It was fun. It was fun, but I can't imagine like how different it would be throughout every episode. So just to sort of give my experience with it, I did it on my phone. So it almost felt like playing a TV show on your phone. It felt like kind of a mobile game almost.
Yeah.
And so like the first episode starts off with Bear Grylls like in an airplane. And he's like, hey, we're about to jump out of this airplane onto this island. We got to rescue this doctor. First things first, I can only take one thing with me. I can either take this grappling hook or this slingshot. Which one do you think I should take? I went with grappling hook.
Oh, man. This is why we're a good team. I went with slingshot.
See, balance.
That's right.
So, yeah, I mean, then it progressed from there where then you get to a point where he's like, okay, we've made it to shore. Like, now do we follow the river? Or do we cut a path through the jungle?
Yeah.
Like, cool, let's go through the jungle. Get that machete.
See, I did the exact opposite.
Really?
We were literally the exact opposite people. This is hilarious.
This feels now like some sort of psychological test.
Okay. Well, don't go too much further because if people, unless you have a piece that you specifically want to talk, because I know some people, if you haven't already done this, I mean, I sat on the couch with my wife and we did it like together. Yeah. The show, clarify what it was.
Sure.
Just to be fair. I like dug it, man. Like I was really like pulled in. It was fun. Am I just a rube?
No,
you seem like unimpressed. And also, Chris, think about this is nerd time. Think about the production of this. I mean, the same thing with Bandersnatch, right?
Right.
You have to shoot things like
every option.
If you're just doing a show, you have to shoot something probably like 8 to 10 times. If you're doing this show, I can't even imagine.
So let me ask you this then, and this is for people who maybe have watched it. I mean, spoiler alert, I guess. Like, because what I'm wondering, since we went down different paths, did you at any point fall down a crevice?
I did.
So did I.
I did. Did you? Okay. So, yeah, sorry. We're going to ruin the first episode maybe, but still do it. It's fun. It's fun.
But
the
see,
log walk, was it the log walk?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What did you have him do? Did you have him walk the log?
I had him walk the log.
Okay, this is where our paths converge, Chris. This is where we come together, right? Our timelines fused because I did the same thing, right? And yes, I had him fall. He fell.
But how'd you get out?
If I'm not mistaken, didn't it end there and you had to redo it? That's what I had to do.
Yeah. No, sir, because I had a grappling hook.
You had a grappling hook. That's right.
I was able to climb up the crevice.
Oh, man.
I won the
I
game.
didn't have a grappling hook. That's why it ended for me.
Interesting.
I just had
that's what I was
slingshot.
wondering is like, does your choice play out? You know, like, does it actually have a consequence in the end? And
I really enjoy the process of like production planning. And so when we do it with our clients and I do it with our production team and we lay out stuff and we storyboard it, and like, I really want to be a part of one of these big things because I nerd out about how do you even plan this? Like,
I don't know.
Like a football broadcast. Any given Sunday, it could be the Browns versus the Bucks. I'm just using those two teams because they sound like terrible teams, and I think they pretty much are. Like not like just whatever, right? Like not even the Super Bowl. That's not. But like the planning and the people power that all has to come together just to do like a football broadcast, right? This completely. I mean, I don't know, man. Like I think it's really cool. Netflix has announced they're going to be investigating and doing more of these. And then YouTube, I mean, it's kind of surprising to me that Netflix beat YouTube to the punch.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right?
Yeah, it does seem weird that a desktop device, you know, that like a browser didn't do this first.
Yeah, like it seems so naturally inclined to be a browser experience.
Right.
You know? But maybe that's why it was overlooked. It's like it's almost I don't know.
It reminded me also of a few things. I mean, first of all, growing up, I was big into choose your own adventure books.
As was I.
So
how did you do those books though? Like
did I look ahead? Did I and then go back?
Did you look ahead and
totally. I wouldn't start from the beginning if I, fell down a crevice. Yeah, I would go back and be like, let's pretend that didn't happen. Let's take a mulligan on that one. But it also reminded me of, I don't know if you ever played any of the Telltale video games, any of the The Wolf Among Us or any of the Walking Dead Telltale games where they're the same way. It's just, animated game, but it's the same thing where you have, choice A, choice B, and that'll affect your gameplay going on.
No, I mean,
never it's like that, but filmed with real people, or Bear Grylls in this case.
Did you ever watch Bear Grylls' old show at all? Because I never did.
Here and there. I wasn't like an avid viewer, but it'd be on in the background or whatever.
Because so when this came up and I was talking to people, it inevitably comes up, or that there was this big, I don't know if outcry is the right word, but how aspects and big parts of his show were fake.
Sure.
He didn't actually sleep in a hornet's nest or something. I don't know. And my response to that, even after seeing this show, because after I watched this, I said to my wife, I said, I like that Bear Grylls. I don't know. I like him. He's like relatable somehow. He's like the guy that I could never be, even on a fake show, if it's fake, right? But even fake, he seems to know what he's talking about. And even fake, I couldn't even do the fake of the show.
Right, you didn't even win the TV episode.
No. He climbed a rope up. He climbed a rope. I can't do that. And I bet 90% of the people who bitch and moan about it not being fake couldn't even do a rope climb. So, and I'm also like, how real do you want this to be? You know, because I saw that the producer of this show, and I think a long time like Bear Grylls, I don't know, producer or something like that, did an interview, and he talks about like there are some things that are faked on or planned on this show. For example, the next episode you're going to get to, there's a dog that is stranded in the Swiss Alps. You cannot just strand a dog in the Swiss Alps. All right? No reality show is real. All right? This is just relax, okay? It's still entertaining as hell. It's still cool. And they talk about in one, he eats some eggs. Okay? There's a scenario he eats some eggs. Okay. And they could very much make you sick, right?
Right.
I don't remember exactly if he actually ate the eggs, but he did kind of stage the getting sick because it's a very real possibility. They didn't actually get him sick. Or in cases where maybe he's poisoned, they don't actually poison Bear Grylls. What do people want from this guy? I mean, this is not gladiator combat, right? I mean, this is a show.
So something I'd be interested to see, and again, the Telltale video games did this. Whenever you would complete a chapter, it would then show you the breakdown of how many people chose choice A versus choice B, and sort of line all that up and show you where you stand as far as your choices go, and whether you made the same choice as most people or went the opposite way. I'd be interested to see that with these Netflix shows. Just same thing with the Bandersnatch. Like how many people went with A versus B throughout all the options.
Here's where I would be disappointed in our digital overlords. You got these Amazon, Google devices that listen to our every conversation, right? But if they're not recording the choices people are making in the Bear Grylls You vs. Wild show, I just feel like now you're really messing with us. I mean, invest in something fun. Google's old thing used to be don't be evil. Well, can you at least invest in data tracking in some fun way? Don't make it always so just intrusive. I mean, is that too much to ask?
Hey, where do you think this could possibly go tying in with like VR?
I don't know.
Now imagine doing everything you did, but also it's a VR interactive thing.
I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. I was going to say it's kind of close, right? Because the show's not immersive in that, you're wearing goggles or something.
Right.
And it's not necessarily you. It's like a third person that you're having drop down a crevasse. But I don't know, man. Like, I feel like that makes it, if possible, makes AR and VR storytelling in games infinitely more interesting.
Right. I mean, imagine, let's say this was Game of Thrones, and you're like, do you
don't ruin it for me, man. No spoilers. I haven't seen a single episode. Don't spoil it for me. All right. No, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
So yeah, I mean, I it'd be cool to see. Maybe my problem is I don't know if I could get invested in an entire season. But you say that it was fun to keep doing it, and I don't know. Maybe it'd be fun with more people.
Well, also, why do you keep doing everything on your phone? Don't you have a TV? Every time we talk, you're always doing it on the phone.
Look,
Use a bigger screen.
I did it at work.
Goofball.
Don't out me.
Did it during lunch break?
So the other thing was I also fast forwarded through some of the episode. I was just like, okay, I get it. You're hacking through the woods. Like, you know,
don't get it. That's
I want to get to the choice.
You're one of those. Are you one of those gamers that skips cutscenes?
Oh, you better believe it.
Chris.
I'm in it for the action. I'm an instant gratification type of guy.
I live for the cutscenes. I want to reward that hard work that goes into those cutscenes. You don't know what's going on.
You're a better man than I.
You're just out there shooting guns from the hip. You don't know who you're shooting at. You don't know why you're doing it. You're just haphazardly. You're out there with Bear Grylls, making them fall into a crevasse.
I was going to say, let's keep in mind, though, only one of us got that medicine to the village. Let's keep that in mind.
Well, I didn't get it the first time. Did you get it the first time?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Now you're going to be a big braggart about it.
I mean, I basically could put that on a resume that I survived the jungle. I did mission work, essentially. I'm like basically a doctor without borders right now.
Helped get medicine to I don't remember where they actually were, to a it's like malaria medicine to a village. Just put that on there. Conversation starter. You did. It just happened to be via a Netflix show, via Bear Grylls, via your phone.
But I don't have to reveal that unless asked.
That's true. Although I feel like if you're putting that on your resume, that's a terrible interviewer if they don't ask about that. Don't take the job if they don't ask you about that. That should be your test for the interviewer. Is that, listen, if they don't ask about this very obvious thing on my resume, I don't even want this job. You can't take the time to recognize that skill. Also, you should put on there, though, don't watch cutscenes in video games.
That's true. That is points against me, I suppose.
And now we come to the third and ever popular miscellaneous segment. Chris, I hand it off to you.
All right. For those of you who have skipped the cutscene and cut straight to this section, welcome. Today I want to talk about an article I found about drunk shopping and the drunk shopping economy. According to this article I found on the American Marketing Association website, there was a survey done that says at least 79% of people have made at least one drunk purchase, and that consumers who shop online while drunk may be worth $45 billion in revenue every year.
Wow.
So yeah, I guess they're starting to do studies now on people who, you know, they come home from the bar or they're just at home drinking and they're cruising online on Amazon and just making drunk, irrational purchases. And now
why must they be irrational? What if I needed
drunk,
more
rational?
What if I needed more weed whack wire?
Yeah, if you're drunk and going, you know what I need right now is weed whacking wire. String, I believe they call it.
Yeah, that's the official term that everyone that knows has a brain would call it. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just essentially it gets into the breakdown of women versus men and all that, but yeah, I guess they're starting to see that marketers are starting to see this as somewhat of a viable group to market toward. And the way they're doing that is by having like flash sales late at night online, like post night out, post late night, and doing sales and taking advantage of people that are maybe a little, have their inhibitions.
I wouldn't say taking advantage of people. I would say converting on prospective customer opportunities.
Perfect way to spin it. And
wow.
Personally, I've done it before in person. I remember once I was at like Guitar Center and with a buddy of mine, and I saw a drum set that I really liked, and I was like, do I need this? I don't know if I need it. I really want it though. And I was like, you know what? Let's go get dinner. So I went, had a couple of margaritas at dinner. We came back, and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's get this drum set. You know, that's all it took was a
Margaritas.
few margaritas.
Are the wallet opener of booze, drinks.
So I can't even imagine if you were just at home, especially with, you know, as we talked about in the past with Instagram doing their in-app purchases. I mean, it would be real easy to just go like, hey, that's a nice pair of sneakers. I'd look good in those.
So here, do you want me to dissect? Do you want me to dissect for you how potentially a marketer could also do this?
Yeah, I would love that.
Okay. So what you could do, you could actually set up a ad campaign on either. You could do, probably the best thing to do would be a Google visual campaign versus their search. So this comes up in other places that Google is kind of plugged in. It shows up, products for things that maybe you have visited the site. So this is the remarketing. So let's say you went to, what's a drum company? SJC. I'm just going to think of that off the top of my head, right? You go to SJC's website. They have that information via a cookie. They could run a campaign and they could show you that drum set that you were looking at when you go to pages that have the Google ads built onto them. Okay. So, or you could run a Facebook ads campaign with a radius. So you could drop a pin on a bar or a series of bars, I suppose, if you wanted to. You could even set a run time of when they would run, and you could then serve up ads to people in those areas, in those specific areas for your specific products at specific times. You could also you could set similar setup, but you could say people who have visited this area within a day, an hour, a month, right? So maybe there's a thought of, okay, they've been there within a day, right? You're going to get them the next morning. So that doesn't really play in exactly to the drunkenness, but you could.
Well, unless you run like a food truck or something.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
Food delivery. That's
true. Yep, absolutely. So you could set up that way. There's also a new, a technology that's getting better perfected, which is, it's just a technology. Let's just call it what it is. How people use it is up to them. But it's a Google Beacon. And this is technology that when you're at a certain place, it can send you a text message of something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love that. And I think there's some ways that they're getting around that. That seems pretty intrusive.
Yeah, it seems like the digital version of somebody on the corner, like handing me a flyer.
Yeah, it is. Hey, there you go.
Like a Chinese menu, Chinese takeout menu on my doorknob. You know,
no, thank you. Right, but so those are ways, actual campaigns that one could create to take advantage of this seemingly thriving customer segment, I guess. If you have a product. Now, I would not necessarily want new clients for Tricycle Creative to sign up because they are drunk. Right. So maybe not the best thing for.
You know what though? What if you ran like a dating service or something? Matchmaking.
Yeah.
Like, you come home from the bar rejected, and then you're getting ads for matchmaking.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great idea.
Or quote unquote matchmaking, if you catch my drift.
Oh, I see. Did you wink at me? I feel like you just winked. Was there a winky there? Or you have a new up and coming a business, Pops for Hire, where you loan out your retired father to do chores around the house. What better time than to get him out of bed at 2 or 3 in the morning and get him to work? Get him over there fixing a fence. You know what I'm saying? Just an idea I'm throwing out there.
You crashed your car into your garage door. You
Oops.
need it fixed.
Oops a daisy. Get Pops over there, you know? He's just happy to help. So what you'd said they had some data on women and men. Were there any other like segments that they
they actually broke it down. They did do an infographic with the states that were most likely to shop online under the influence. Do you have a guess which state is number 1?
I'm going to go with New York.
Kentucky. Kentucky, followed by Rhode Island.
Those are literally the opposite of New York. I mean, maybe not so much Rhode Island, but Kentucky is.
Yeah.
If you were to say, tell me the state that's the opposite of New York, I would say Kentucky. So I was way off. Way off. Okay, interesting.
And they also broke down the most likely professions to drunk shop. Now here's where it kind of loses me a little bit, because the most likely professions to drunk shop are sports, 94%. Whatever that means.
Sports. Fun ball.
Transport, oil and energy, recruiting, and marketing, 85%.
Okay. So let's try and break those down. Sports.
Mm-hmm. So I guess athletes.
Is that athletes?
I assume. But yeah, it doesn't clarify.
Is that
sports agents? You know, Is it just an athlete?
The entire sports industry. So everyone that's in sports, who covers sports, that's almost us. That's like everyone's like 1 degree away from being in sports, I feel like. So, okay, sports. What was the next one?
Transport. So, Uber drivers, probably.
Over-the-road truckers?
Right. Again, it doesn't really break down what exactly that means. So
oil
and energy.
Oil and energy. You're on the derelict. You're on the derrick, and you're buying some new Crocs.
Right. After popping a couple of Lone Stars in the back of your pickup, and you go, I need a new pair of Crocs. And then recruiting and marketing followed that.
Doesn't seem like that's an app demo for Crocs, but I don't know. What do I know? What was the next one? Sorry.
Recruiting.
Oh, yeah. They're a bunch of drunks. I used to be in recruiting.
And then marketing.
Shout out to my recruiting friends. And then marketing. Yeah. What percentage was marketing?
85%.
85%. Good God. If I wasn't such a lightweight where I fell asleep almost immediately once the alcohol touches my lips, then I feel like I would be a real problem with this. But that takes care of itself, you see.
Also, for some more data, if you're up for it, the most likely platform, of course, is Amazon. But I figured that'd be the case. And then the purchases are most likely to be on clothing and shoes.
I don't think I would ever drunk buy clothing. I can barely sober buy clothing.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and well, here's the actually interesting thing, maybe to wrap this segment up, and we haven't talked about it yet because it's not really open yet, or it hasn't really been launched like fully, but Amazon will most likely be launching a ad platform this year. So think about that. Think about Facebook has a ton of data on you, but they take some guesses, right?
Sure.
Amazon,
they know,
without a doubt, knows the products that you buy, when you buy them, how often you buy them, where you get them shipped. I mean, think about the trove of data that Amazon has on you.
Yeah.
And the ad platform that's going to become.
I mean, they know, they're really good at getting you for what you've looked at, but didn't commit to, and then shove that back in your face.
Yeah, and they haven't let anyone else in there. Like that stuff, Amazon stuff can kind of push out, but they don't, like Facebook's not showing up stuff in Amazon, you know? Like Facebook, let me put it this way. Facebook doesn't have like they can't show their ads in Amazon, right? Neither can Google. They've kept that clean and they've kept the walls up around it for them.
Yeah.
And they have ways into the other platforms, they can run campaigns and things. So that could be, that could really make this even worse. So brace yourself. Episode 5 in the books, and now also in your brain and via your ears. So that's how we typically get in there. So thank you for listening. Again, as a reminder, please subscribe, like, share, tell your friends, do things that nice people would do for podcasters like ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you have questions about your own marketing, you can contact us on all the socials at Hello Tricycle, or use the hashtag #AskTricycle. Any parting thoughts, Christopher?
Well, I was going to comment that rest assured, if you do have questions, they will be handled by Ross and not me.
Oh, actually, there is one thing that I wanted to talk about that I wanted to talk about at the beginning of the episode, but now it's almost even better because if you made it this far, you're really committed, my friend. There might have been a situation where last episode, if you downloaded the show in a particular time range, you got a little behind the scenes take of me talking to Chris. And I just want to say, I hope you enjoy it. And I've talked a lot about being authentic. Now, while we did upload a version without that in there, I actually wasn't upset at all that it was released because, Chris, for what it's worth, it was me talking to you about how I felt like I talked way too damn much and I wanted you to talk more. So if there's one thing that oops, that was a leak that I wanted to get out there, it's the fact that, Chris is as we have seen in this show, he is the yin to my yang. He's the guy who takes the grappling hook and I take the slingshot. We are a team. And even if he doesn't know nothing about marketing, he is a extremely valuable part of this show. So I do encourage you to please also connect with him. Chris, give it to him. Tell him where to find you.
On Instagram is my preferred method, at Ruthless Chris Steakhouse.
He has a cute dog and he takes wildlife photos, and you're going to follow him and you're going to love him. And then we'll see you next time, episode 6. We are going to take a little break for Easter. So it may be another week for a new episode, but stay put because we got a lot of great stuff coming down the pipe. So we will see you next time.
You have a side gig as the Easter Bunny, right? At the mall.
That is, I didn't want to really announce that. I'm working on it's supplementary income, but
I'll cut this out.
Okay, good. Yes. Lakeline Mall. We'll see you there. All right. Goodbye, folks. Till next time.
Bye.
Keep peddling.
Thanks for listening to Tripod. For show notes and bonus content, go to tricycle-creative.com/tripod. Connect with Tricycle Creative on Facebook and Instagram at Hello Tricycle. Connect with Ross at Ross Hero. Connect with Chris on Instagram at Ruthless Chris Steakhouse.